All right, so we're gonna be starting our thumb taping. I'm gonna start with pre-wrap and I'm just gonna go on the wrist. I'm gonna come around, just lightly around that wrist. And then as we work our way up to the thumb. And now that I'm here, I'm gonna come on the back side of the thumb. I'm gonna have her raise it just a little, come through, and back down. Back down that wrist. I'm just gonna end right here. Make sure it sticks. I'm gonna take my 1.5 inch tape and I'm gonna come right around this lower wrist right here. I'm just gonna come around and make my first anchor. I'm gonna do one more just because she's got a little bit of a smaller wrist and a little bit more support to it. I'm just gonna come around and rip over here. And then I'm gonna take my 1 inch tape and I'm gonna go across this first phalange, but I'm not gonna go across this metacarpal joint or interphalange joint, really. So I already ripped off my tape and I'm just gonna come up over here, have her pull her thumb just a little. I'm just gonna make my anchor here and here, making sure not to go over that joint. With the same 1 inch tape, I'm gonna make banana strips. So I'm gonna measure from this anchor to this anchor and see what my tape is looking like. Looks like about right here is gonna be good for me. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna rip off a couple pieces of tape to that measurement so I have those ready for her. And we're gonna do about 4 to 6 of these. So I'm gonna peel off 4 for my start. And if I need a little bit more, I'll go with those. So I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna have her pull that thumb just a little. I'm gonna set my tape from this anchor all the way back. This one's a little long, so I'm just gonna tear it, make it a little bit shorter for her. And smooth those down. Our next one, I'm gonna come on this side and make sure that you're layering these and smoothing them out to your athlete. I'm gonna come on this other side and layer it as well. We're just gonna come down. And this one's a little long too, so I'm just gonna gently rip for her. And I'm gonna smooth it down and pull that tension. Then I've got one more. I'm gonna come over here to the palmar side. I'm just gonna add a little bit more support for her. Got a little wrinkle right there. I'm just gonna hold here and come down with my banana strip. This one's a little long too, so I'll just tear and smooth that down to my athlete. After my banana strips, I'm gonna take my 1.5 inch tape and I'm gonna create some C-strips just to hold that down. So I'm gonna come here and rip and create some C-strips for her. Just secure those banana strips down. I'm gonna layer them by half. I'm only gonna do probably about 3 for her, just because her wrist is a little small. Right there for our last one. And rip. And lay those down for him. And next, with that same 1.5 inch tape, we're gonna do some horseshoes. Now our horseshoe angle is gonna be a little different, so I'm just gonna rip off some tape for our first start. I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna put her thumb in alignment with my tape in the middle, and I'm just going to slam that down for her horseshoe and smooth it out. Now, if you get a wrinkle, you can go ahead and create that by wrinkle by design if your angle is a little off. I'm gonna align one more time, right in the middle, and down I come, smoothing that out. And if I do have a wrinkle, it'll be right on the top of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one more. You can do 2 or 3. I'm just gonna add one more for extra support for her. I'm gonna come up on this thumb to get these anchors. So I'm gonna look where it is, and I'm just going to slam that down and smooth it out. And if you have a wrinkle, you can just go ahead and create a wrinkle by design, which luckily I did not have. So next, after our horseshoes, we're gonna create the Lauren strip. So it's still gonna be with this 1.5 inch tape. We're gonna kind of lift her thumb up just a little, get a little sneak peek of a measurement. We're gonna rip off some tape. And we're gonna rip it down the middle, creating an H, just like so. Turning it upside down, creating an H. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna put this in the space right here to add protection and cover up those holes. So I'm gonna bring it down here and cross, kind of creating a little X on that joint. Then the other two pieces, they're a little off, but I'm just gonna lay them down to create that. Now you can do 1 or 2 depending on the support that you need for your athlete. After our Lauren strip, we're gonna take our 1 inch tape and we're gonna create a spica. Now with the spicas, you can do a strip taping or you can do a continual taping. Today I'm gonna do continual, so I'm gonna have my athlete rotate her hand over. I'm gonna start right on this palmar side, so kind of right underneath the wrist. I'm gonna have her come back. And what we're gonna do is you're gonna come behind the thumb, just like so. Have her turn back around and pull your tape off the roll so you can kind of manipulate it the way you want it to go. And if you have a wrinkle, that's okay. And we're just gonna come down and around her wrist. And back down over here. And we're just gonna follow this tape as our landmark. We're just gonna layer it over, right over that thumb, pull off the roll, come here, whoops, so sorry. Come through here, lay it down, kind of have a little bit of a tension wrinkle stuck on my tape. There we go. The other tape is getting stuck to each other. And then we'll continue down and we'll just bring it right on up over the wrist. What we're gonna do is just tear that there and lay it down for my athlete. After our spicas, we're gonna take that 1.5 inch tape and we're gonna close off any holes with our C-strips. We're gonna do about 2 to 3 C-strips from here. We're just gonna close up those ends right here for those C-strips and tear and smooth. And then after my 2 to 3 C-strips, I'm gonna go ahead and go into my horseshoes. Do one more for my athlete. Come down here, layering by half. We're still layering all of our tapes by half as well. So come down, smooth that out. Back with the horseshoes, we're gonna do the same thing as we did our first ones. So we're just gonna take our tape. You can tear it off or you can have it on the roll. We're gonna look and see where her thumb aligns, and we're just going to gently set it right on the middle. And there's our horseshoe. Smooth that tape out. I'll show you with the tape on the roll. We'll look and see if it's in the middle, and we will just go down. That one was a little bit long on the tape side, so we're just gonna smooth that out and smooth that out. It's a little long for my athlete's hand, but that's okay for her. We're gonna do just about one more, depending on if I need another, depending on her hand. And we'll line it up and come here, smooth out that horseshoe for her. Luckily, I did not have to create a wrinkle by design. All right, and then after our horseshoes, we're gonna do one circular strip around our wrist with our 1.5 inch tape. So I'm just gonna take it here, set it right on that wrist, lay it down for my athlete, and bring it around, starting coming to the top where she can see and laying it down. And then we're going to do one more spica figure 8 to secure in our tape job. And so we're just going to take our tape, and this is going to be the same as our continual spica. So we'll just have her rotate that wrist over. Start right here on that palmar side, and we're just going to come down. We're going to have her rotate back. My angle's just a little off. Come back. Come up here. All right, and we're going to come up and over that thumb. And really, I could have used 1 inch or half-inch tape because my athlete has such smaller hands than what I'm used to. So we're just going to come down, around, lay that down. I'm going to come up. I'm going to close on the top just so my athlete can see where I started, so she can close. After that, we're going to check the circulation of our thumb, and then we're just going to mold that to our athlete. Now, since I went over a little here, I'm just going to take my scissors and clean that up a little for my athlete. Just go right in so she doesn't have any tape hanging off or creating any sharp edges. So I'm going to mold that to my athlete, and that will be our thumb taping.